Welcome to Lock It Down Sports. I'm your host, Locke Hoover. You can follow me on Twitter at Lock It Up Media. That's Lock It Up Media on Twitter. You can also check us out at E5280 Sports. That's E5280 Sports. And today on the show, a starting pitcher that fits in Atlanta, what NIL has turned into. It's turned into a lot of different things, actually, but we're getting to one of those things that just turned into a little bit later in the show, and the NFL and college football playoffs. And that's where I'm going to begin today, the college football playoff. Surprised me. We had two good games in the semifinals. I really was. I thought the Penn State Notre Dame game was going to be the close one possession back and forth kind of game. And it came down to one mistake. It really did. The interception by Drew Allard. And that was it. Notre Dame capitalized. And boom, it's a wrap. That interception, they were drive down, score, put the clamps down, and win. And, good for Notre Dame. Notre Dame has struggled in big games basically since Lou Holtz took him to the national championship. I mean, all the BCS games, all the playoff games, they've got just lost and lost and lost. And then this year, it would beat Georgia and Penn State in back-to-back weeks. It's got to be a nice feeling for the Notre Dame faithful, even though they think their national championship continues every year. Good for them to finally get over the hump on their end of beating a quality team when it matters. Now, same can't be said for Penn State. As you look at Penn State and James Franklin, I think they're happy they made it that far, but I don't think it really changes the overall outlook of who Penn State is. They're the same 10-2 team that loses to Ohio State and Michigan most years, basically. And that's the outlook of this Penn State program. He's now 115 against top 5 ranked programs all time. Plenty of opportunity. Haven't been able to get it done. I mean, it's the old he can't win the big game or beat a good team. And it's true. You want to say SMU and Boise State? Big games? Yeah, playoffs. Yeah, I know. But SMU and Boise State? Really? That you're going to try to hold your hat on, then okay. I mean, it's a bit of a stretch if you ask me. But yeah, where's Penn State as a program? Can they make that next step? They're going to be in the conversation every year as that third or fourth team, fifth team in the Big 10, depending on how it shakes out with Ohio State, Michigan, now Oregon, Washington, up and down a little bit. They were down near this year. Are they going to be back up? Southern Cal, which supposed to be in this conversation. They haven't been in this conversation with Lincoln Riley at all. But that's kind of the Penn State dilemma where they fall each and every year in this Big Ten conference. Now, talking about where they fall in the Big Ten conference, it's always usually the top. And I was surprised Ohio State did not dominate Texas. I thought they would. I thought it would be very much like the Oregon and the Tennessee game where they didn't have an issue scoring the football, driving down the field, whatever the possession, it didn't matter. They're scoring, whether it's touchdown or field goal. Based on what I'd seen in the Oregon game and the Tennessee game, I was like, oh boy, Texas doesn't have a chance. I mean, yeah. And coming to this game, like I thought Texas, yeah, they're good. I mean, they're okay. Very beatable team. Obviously, with the two losses, they lost to Georgia. Um, but nothing like, oh crap, this Texas team's ready to roll, ready to rock. I mean, that wasn't the case. And so they well played team, well good coach team, all that, but nothing scary. And they played Ohio State tight, and I was surprised by that. Um, I'm sure a lot of Texas fans are not happy with the toss sweep there at the goal line, that touchdown that they needed and they couldn't score. But yeah, so Archie's the man in charge next year. Quinn Ewers going to the league, declaring for the draft, and very interesting report had an $8 million NIL deal reported. I probably would have gone to taking that NIL. I mean, yeah, teams need quarterbacks. Giants need quarterback. Browns quarterback. Raiders quarterback. Who else? But those teams need quarterbacks. It's a weak quarterback class, so that's got working in his favor as well. I don't know. It's obviously it's risky. It's kind of like they say, bird in hand. He's a second round pick. I'm sure he's going to be kicking himself. First round pick, then it's one of those that works out. But it's interesting to see where he falls with a weaker quarterback class. And I mean, he had a good year, but I mean, not all world numbers. And I'm sure some of it will be what he does at the combine and senior day. I mean, in the Senior Bowl. Sears measurements and all that. But yeah, it's a gonna be a good one there on to see what happens with it. Now, Ohio State scoring off against Notre Dame. If you ask me, I think this might be the second worst team Ohio State has played this postseason. And I mean, this might be on par with Tennessee as the toughest opponent they've played. Maybe, like I said, this could be the worst or second worst team Ohio State's played this postseason. I think it could be rough. I think Notre Dame's gonna have to play perfect. They're gonna have to play absolutely perfect to beat Ohio State, and that still might not get it done. They might play perfect, and Ohio State can make a mistake or two and still beat Notre Dame. And I think that's how it's gonna be. I hope it's a close game. I very much question how much it will be. It's going to be fun on Monday. And we're going to see it all shakes out. But I like Ohio State in this football game. Now, someone else I like, I think it's a great fit for the Braves, is Jordan Montgomery. And why is he a fit for Atlanta? One, because Arizona is going to have to eat some money to trade him. They now have 6 starting pitchers in Arizona after the signing Corbin Burns. Oh yeah, also the owner says it was a mistake paying him $25 million a year last year for the first his 2-year deal. I think they're going to be willing to cut him loose, trade him cheap to a team. Now, if the Braves could get him for $5 to $10 million, I think that's a home run for them. And I think they have to trade much, it being a 1-year deal. And once again, This is the type of pitcher the Braves need, that back end starter. So the last 3 years, okay, 178 and a third, 188 and 2/3, and 117 innings pitched. And to me, that's important. And also with this, looking at last season, almost a throwaway. And here's why: he signed late. He signed late with Arizona. He didn't get a spring training, and it was almost like he got rushed during his minor league starts. I feel like every pitcher that signed late has that same issue. I mean, Jordan, like you said, Jordan Montgomery and Blake Snell this year. Whose clients were those? Oh yeah, Scott Boras. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Also, and per season, this is counting the last 3 years, 161 innings and a 4.04 ERA and 24 starts. 28 starts. 28 starts. Last 3 years, average 28 starts, 161 innings, and a 4.04 ERA. That's including the bad year and the shortened year with the Diamondbacks. So the 2 years prior to that, so 21 and 22, averaged 32 starts per year, 184 innings per, and a 3.34 ERA, and average 162 Ks. To me, this is the kind of pitcher you're getting. That's what you're getting, a back end 3-4 type starter. And oh yeah, he's pitched in the postseason and had some success with the Rangers on the World Series run. That CS, that championship series, pitched really well in his 2 starts in the CS. 1 start in the World Series, he had 4 runs, 6 innings. I mean, not ideal, but not a complete clunker. Like I said, 3-4 starter. You know what you're getting out of him, and you're gonna need those innings, like I mentioned before, with Renato Lopez, with Swellenbach, throwing the most they've ever thrown in their life, or the most Lopez thrown since 2019. Sale didn't even throw 200 innings, 177. They skipped starts with him. And then obviously, Spencer Strider coming back. Probably going to miss all of April, maybe May. And he's not going to be full throttle. He's going to be some 5-inning starts, at least to start when he's ready to go in May. So you need innings, and you need solid production innings from him. And your 5th starter, it's going to be the let's run him through till someone sticks, like we saw last year. And you don't know the innings or the productions you're getting from him. There might be some short starts, so you need that 5 2/3, 6 innings, 6 1/3, sometimes 7-inning start from a Jordan Montgomery. And I think you're going to get that. Now, this is where we are with the NIL and the transfer portal now, how much it's seeped in to the minds of high school kids. So this high school All-American running back, he's committing to a big school, right? Nope. He commits to Louisiana Monroe. Louisiana Monroe is a high school All-American when he had offers from Alabama, LSU, Auburn, Southern Cal, just to name a few. He is Louisiana Monroe. To me, that is crazy. This is in the mind, 3 years in now, of even top-rated kids. I'm going to go to Louisiana Monroe. I'm going to rush for 1,000+ yards. I'm going to hop in the portal, and then I'm going to get big money from another school. That's what NIL is, and that's I mean, that can be risky. I, very much so. It's also kind of like reverse of what we've been seeing in the past of 4 or 5 star kids going to big schools, not playing as much, and then transferring to a smaller school. I think he also has the mindset. He has this mindset of going to Louisiana Monroe as a high school senior because he even mentioned the article last year. Louisiana Monroe running back had over 1,000 rushing yards, had a good year. I transferred to Missouri. That's exactly what he's thinking of. You know what? I go down there, I ball out, and boom, I get an NIL deal for a bigger school. But to me, that can be dangerous. You go to a smaller school, and what if you don't ball out? You could be getting more NIL money on the front end from going to an Alabama, and Auburn, LSU, etc. You might have to sit for 2 years, but then that third year, you skyrocket and you take off. Or you do the portal thing of you get a decent amount from one of the Power 4 schools as a freshman, whatever that is for a running back. You do so, you don't, or maybe you don't play as much. You hop back into the portal and transfer to another Power 5 school to get you some more money, or you do the portal journey of big school, portal, small school, back into the portal, see what happens. We've seen that so many times now. Kids on their third and fourth schools, it's like, good grief, come on. But it's an interesting dynamic with this kid, and we'll see what really takes place. Now, on the other end of the spectrum here, when it comes to NIL, you have a basketball coach that called out a kid. And that's it with my school, and I like the transparency here. So this is Rick Barnes, and I'm about to quote him after he took out the SEC leading point scorer per game and Tennessee's point scorer per game, leading point scorer per game. And this is the beginning of the second half. It's a close back and forth game against Texas. So this is Rick Barnes on Chaz Lanier. I took him out the first play of the second half because he didn't shoot the ball. That play was designed for a shot, and I told him, I said, if you're not going to do what you're getting paid to do, you sit over here. Pause. Because he is getting paid to do that, right? And I think it's very interesting. College coaches now are coming out and saying the quiet part out loud, treating him like a pro, chat and like a pro, but also it's like some college type principles. We're taking you out because we designed that play for you, and we're paying you to do it. We paid you to take those and make those type shots, and you didn't do it. So know what? You're going to come over here. You're going to take a seat in a close back and forth ball game where we need you, but I want to get my point across. And to me, it's not a blast of Rick Barnes. That's not who he is as a coach. But I think it's like sending a message of it's not a secret that you're being paid like pros. So in some way, we're going to treat you like pros. We're going to call you out, not necessarily call him out, but he got asked, why'd you sit him? Well, here's why. Very transparent, and I like it. It's, look, here's the deal. I don't care. But like I said, it's also that kind of that college. I feel like this is almost like that cross of still the college game, but yes, very much pro. as well of it's no secret you're getting paid NIL. I don't know what Chaz Linear is making. I don't know what Tennessee paid him, what his NIL deal is for his 1 year in Knoxville after 3 years at North Florida. Big jump, obviously. The Atlantic Sun Conference to the Southeastern Conference. Little bit of a jump of the paying. It says the paying part out loud, obviously, but it's also, you see that tough love from the coach, from a coaching standpoint that you wouldn't see in the pros. The pros aren't taking out Giannis or LeBron, etc., Trae Young, Jokic, if a shot's designed for them and they don't take it, right? Because they know they're going to make up for it tenfold the next few plays. They're not doing that. That's the pro game. The college game, you saw that in Rick Barnes of, look, still the control that these college coaches have. And sending a point, sending the lesson, look, this is for you. Take this shot. It's designed for you. You're good, but you're not the superstar that you think you are. Or maybe he doesn't think he is, but that's the point that Rick Barnes is driving home, and that college aspect, that pro aspect, kind of still merging together as opposed to the straight pro game of, we're going to let you, that's okay. It's designed for you. You didn't take the shot. I know you're going to make up for it. Well, he's struggling so far, and that's okay. Barnes knows he's going to turn around, but that's just the example of, I think, where we are in the NIL, even in college basketball now, at this point. Now, we got NFL football, playoffs. After the first round, we got some marquee matchups here. And that's obviously the Ravens and the Bills, as this is the headliner of this round, if you ask me. Two elite quarterbacks, two MVP candidates squaring off, trying to lead their team to play the winner of Chiefs Texans. You got Jackson, you got Allen, the team, Derrick Henry running the ball, controlling the clock, downhill. Might be one of the already the best, top 10 maybe argument sakes, running backs in the NFL. He's just different. I mean, he's big, he's physical, and he's never been this explosive speed demon. But that's okay. Everyone's different, right? It's big, physical back. And then you got James Cook on the other end, a little bit more receiver, more explosive than the two quarterbacks. I'm excited for it. I'm kind of pulling for the Bills. So that's what I'm going to pick. And then you got Chiefs Texans. America's pulling for the Texans. Unless you're a Swiftie, I guess. But America's pulling for the Texans. You gotta get past Mahomes. There's no hiding that. I think it's gonna be another close one-score game because that's what Kansas City's played all year. They haven't blown anybody out. They haven't said, "See ya, we're taking off," and they've only got one loss. I think Chiefs are gonna win. I don't want to bet. You don't want to bet against Patrick Mahomes. But America's pulling for the Texans. Fun game here, Eagles Rams. Two veteran battle tested teams. In Stafford and Hurts. Interesting game too. Fun game. And then I think the other side, you've really got America's team, and that's the Lions. I mean, the Detroit Lions are rolling. Number one seed. Jared Goff's playing great football. You got their collection of Amon St. Brown and their other receivers. And then you got Gibbs and Montgomery at bat at the running back position. And all those injuries on defense that they've had with Hutchinson's out. He was out, obviously almost the entire season. Them able to will their way to number one seed, really, a really good year. And it's the Lions. I mean, all the struggles they've had in the city of Detroit. Going against Washington. Fun, exciting team. Rookie quarterback, Jalen Daniels, able to get by against the Bucs, beat the Bucs. Young, dynamic quarterback. The hopes of leading Washington to a new era of, hey, we've got a quarterback, all right. Finally, it's been a struggle for him. It's been a struggle for them to find a quarterback since, probably Kirk Cousins, probably? Really, yeah, probably Kirk Cousins since they've had a quarterback. Finally got one of their own, a young rookie. I like the Lions in this game. I'm pulling for the Lions. But it's fun. I mean, it's playoff time. Should be some good matchups. I'm really looking forward to NFL playoffs. And we got those on Saturday and Sunday. Should be another good set of playoffs. And that's what we're going to talk about next week. I mean, NFL playoffs to wrap up the college football playoff. And there's a lot more. You never know the week of what it's going to look like the week of sports. Also, sad loss for everybody in sports, entertainment, and that's Bob Uecker. Any broadcaster, entertainer, really disappointing. Sad to see the loss of Bob Uecker. If you've never listened to his Hall of Fame speech, it's incredible. It's hilarious. And it's just sad. I mean, age 90, still calling games in a booth. Pretty incredible. So, Bob Uecker, one of the best. Didn't get to listen to you a whole lot, but listen to you some. And listen to the highlights and everything else. Obviously, the major league and all that. But disappointing, sad to hear Bob Uecker's passing on, what's today? Today's a Friday, on Thursday. So, really sad hearing of that passing. As always, you can follow me at Lock It Up Media. That's Lock It Up Media on Twitter. I'm Locke Hoover. You've been listening to Lock It Down Sports. I'll talk to you next week.